The Philadelphia Eagles are facing a brutal, cold-blooded reality that could tear the defensive identity of this franchise apart. We aren't just talking about a simple roster tweak or a mid-season signing. We're looking at a looming financial disaster that forces the front office to choose between two absolute monsters on the defensive line. Is the team preparing to replace their biggest star? That is the million-dollar question, and the answer might shock you. Before we dive into this high-stakes standoff, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. It feels like just yesterday the Eagles were celebrating their dominance, but the NFL is a ruthless business. The offseason isn't just about vacations and rest. It is about calculated survival. Right now, behind the scenes, a quiet storm is brewing. The front office is staring down a future where the math simply doesn't add up. We have seen teams implode because they couldn't balance the books. We have seen championship windows slam shut because of one bad contract. Now, the spotlight is turning toward the interior defensive line. Everyone is focused on the big names, but the real story, the one that could define the next 5 years of Eagles football, is about a player who has quietly turned himself into a wrecking ball. But wait until you hear exactly how much money we are talking about here. It's enough to make any fan's head spin. Let's rewind for a second. In the 7th round, you usually find players who are lucky to make the practice squad. They're the long shots, the developmental projects, the guys you hope can contribute on special teams. But occasionally, you find a diamond in the rough, and that is exactly what happened here. When the opportunity arose, this player didn't just step in. He exploded onto the scene. We're talking about a guy who ranked 11th among all interior linemen in the league with a 10% pass rush win rate. 6 sacks. 38 tackles. The versatility is frankly unfair. He can line up at the end, he can play tackle, he can function as a 5-technique monster. He has become a Swiss Army knife of destruction. Who is this player, and why is his rise causing such panic in the front office? We're going to break down the stats that are forcing the team into a corner. But first, I have a question for you. Who is ultimately to blame for the salary cap squeeze that forces teams to cut their own homegrown talent? Is it the league, the agents, or just the nature of the beast? Drop a name in the comment section below. Here is where the drama hits a fever pitch. We all know the name Jalen Carter. He is a generational talent. He is the guy you build a defense around. But in the NFL, being the best player doesn't always guarantee you a long-term future with the team that drafted you. The report is circulating that there is legitimate hesitation to pay the astronomical price tag that a player like Carter will demand. We're talking about figures that will shatter records, north of $30 million per year. When you look at the landscape, the market is absolutely insane. Jordan Davis just secured $26 million annually. That sets the floor, not the ceiling. If the team opts to extend their rising star interior lineman, the one who has been performing at an elite efficiency level, instead of locking up Carter, it sends a massive message to the entire league. It would essentially signal that the front office has decided Carter is no longer the centerpiece of their long-term vision. It would be a betrayal of expectations that would leave the fan base reeling. But how much of a gap is there really between these two? And could the team actually justify letting a superstar walk away to save a few million? The answer lies in the numbers, and they are more complicated than they look. Let's talk Turkey. In 2024, the league saw massive contracts handed out. Milton Williams secured a deal worth $26 million per year. Think about that for a second. That is the going rate for a high-level contributor. Now look at our rising star. In 2025, his performance was arguably superior to the production that earned that massive payday. If he hits the open market, or even if he negotiates an extension, he is looking at that $25 plus million range. The Eagles are caught in a classic trap. They have to pay for the talent they've cultivated, but they only have so many spots on the payroll. They've already moved on from massive contracts, absorbed dead cap hits, and restructured deals to keep the ship afloat. But at some point, you run out of cards to play. You have to pay Jordan Davis. You have to decide on the future of the defensive line. And on top of that, you have young talent like Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean who are going to be knocking on the door for $30+ million deals of their own. It is a mathematical impossibility to keep everyone. You might be asking, why don't they just pay everyone? Well, the salary cap is the ultimate equalizer. Every dollar you spend on a defensive tackle is a dollar you don't have for the secondary, the receivers, or the depth chart. It is a zero-sum game, and the Eagles are currently playing at the expert level. The advanced metrics tell a story that the casual fan might miss. In 2024, our breakout star played 17 games, recorded 22 pressures, and was a force of nature in terms of efficiency. He ranked second in the entire NFL in pass rush win rate at 18.7%. Do you realize how rare that is? That is Chris Jones-level territory. Then came 2025. He notched 6 sacks and 49 pressures. He wasn't just a role player anymore. He was a starter-level disruptor. When you have a player with that kind of production on your roster, you don't just want him, you need him. But you need him at the right price. If the front office decides that Jalen Carter is the priority, they might be forced to let this rising star test the waters. Or, in a move that would shock the football world, they might choose the efficiency of the rising star over the raw, explosive talent of the established superstar. It sounds like a disaster in the making, but to a front office obsessed with it might be the only Devontae Smith. But wait until you see how this affects the locker room dynamic. When the guys in the building know that a massive payday is being weighed against their teammates, the atmosphere changes. The pressure to perform isn't just about winning games anymore. It's about proving you are the one worth the investment. We are looking at a pivotal moment. Training camp is around the corner. The chemistry is being built right now, in the quiet moments before the pads come on. But make no mistake, the shadow of these contract negotiations is looming over every single drill. The front office has a history of drafting and developing talent to sustain success. That is why this team has been a contender for so long. But the flip side of being great at scouting is that you eventually have too many great players and not enough money. It is the best problem to have, and yet it is the most agonizing one. So, what does this leave us? We have a defensive line that is teeming with potential, a front office that is notoriously stingy when the numbers don't add up, and a fan base that demands nothing short of a championship. The decision on who to pay and who to let walk will define the 2026 season and beyond. The reality is that someone is going to be the odd man out. That is just how the NFL works. You can't keep the whole band together forever. As the season approaches, every snap, every tackle, and every sack takes on a new level of importance. This isn't just about football anymore. It is about securing a future in a league that doesn't care about your past achievements. Whether it's a blockbuster trade, a surprising extension, or a heartbreaking departure, one thing is certain. The Philadelphia front office is about to make a move that will be analyzed, criticized, and praised for years to come. The stakes have never been higher, and the clock is ticking faster than ever. We are entering a new era, and the team you see today might look very different by the time the postseason rolls around. Keep your eyes on the trenches, because that is where this story will be written. The pressure is on, the money is tight, and the talent is undeniable. Are we watching the end of an era or the beginning of a new, more efficient dynasty? The only way to find out is to watch every snap of this upcoming campaign. This is going to be one wild ride. Make sure you are locked in, because we're going to be covering every single twist and turn as the situation develops. The drama is just getting started.